Huh?
We're over here tapping in with KWJT, Puget Sound from space. I'm over here with Corey. You're tapping in with Tavares and sliding with Solana.
All right, man. You already know what's going on. KWJT, hello. Welcome to another podcast brought to you by the Groovy Boys. Groovy Tapes. Yes.
I love it.
Man.
Love
Words can't describe how excited I am for today. But you know I love to start the show off with two things. A whole lot of love for the Groovers that's been tapping in with us. Thank you so much, you guys. I know you guys been wanting the podcast back and been tapping in with our vlogs and a lot of other content. So we thank you for rolling with the punches and hanging together. We just, broke our 910 subscriber. We got 911. So now we going crazy. We need a little bit more, you guys. We need 1,000 so we can give you guys free shit. I'm going to keep dropping that every time we start a new podcast just because we want to give you guys access to our merchandise, and we know we're very limited. So two, for all the future groovers that are tapping in right now because of this episode, please hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share with a friend. We really need it. We can't do this without you guys.
I'm loving this intro.
And without a further ado-ski, please let me introduce this week's guest, man. We got Aramis in the fucking building, man, from Enumclaw.
The sound effects going off.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yes, sir. You got a big old hand clap.
Yes,
Thank you for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
Of course,
Fuck,
man.
keep splashing me.
This is a long time coming. I think this makes this link up a lot more sweeter. Just because we've been talking.
Yeah, I've been on bullshit.
Nah, you've done like 2 tours at this point. So I feel like whenever a guest has like real life things going on, the pod will always be here.
Yeah. Literally, don't ever worry about that. Like, I think what a lot of people at home and our guests don't realize is like we're super flexible, and we're really for the guest. You know, we want to work around your guys' schedules and when it works for y'all, because that just makes the moment even like more perfect. So.
Right.
So don't worry about it. You know, we're here, bro. Like, this is a beautiful Monday morning, or afternoon now.
Yeah,
and,
afternoon. The sun's starting to come out.
Yeah.
Fucking kind of done being smoky.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I
Man,
can't.
fuck
I'm waiting
the
for like,
wildfires.
Like, was it on Saturday? It was so
It was bad.
it was bad.
It was so cooked. I was like, damn.
I was like, I gotta put the mask back on. I'm
yeah,
like,
it was like end of day shit. The sun is all red and shit.
Don't y'all feel like you're in a different universe when the
Yeah, it
haze is
feels
here?
like shit is not real. It
Yeah.
feels like, oh no. it feels
especially
made
here,
up.
because like it's like the sky, and like when it's like that in LA, and I see pictures like that, I'm like, oh, that's regular. You guys used to have smog and shit.
That's
in the
normal.
80s. But I'm like, here we got too many trees. It's like
It
it's
doesn't
real
make
fresh
no
air.
sense. I didn't know shit like that could happen. I remember a couple of summers ago when shit first started like getting smoky in the summertime. I was like,
What the fuck is going on? This is what LA be dealing with.
The first time I went to LA, I could not. I didn't know. Like being from Washington, I had no idea that different places had different air quality.
Yeah, exactly.
And I remember the first time I got to LA, I was like, "What the fuck?" The smog was so thick. I tried to like reach out.
Yeah,
and grab
exactly.
it.
I was like, my biggest thing about LA is like it's so beautiful, but it's one of the dirtiest places in the world. I'm like, it don't make no sense.
It's
All of
so
you are
gross.
so close to the beach. Like I just see niggas throw shit out of the cars. I'm like, it's sunny here every day. What are you high? Like what's going
Like
on?
you're hotboxing trash
Yeah, like-
molecules, you guys. Like, stop with the littering. Your brother had to bless my lifestyle and tell me.
Stop littering.
Yeah, the littering, man.
Damn,
we
you
got
were littering?
Bad.
I was careless.
That's wild.
He used to
I
be
be
flagrant.
4 years removed.
I be feeling bad when I be like at the park eating and my napkin flies away and I can't get it no more. Like, damn, he was just.
I was
fucking-
ignorant to the cause, honestly.
He would look at me and be like, "Oh, don't do this." And I was like, and I'm like,
Don't
fucked
do
up, 'cause I
anything
would
that
just,
you're
like, grab
doing.
it, I'll toss it, and then I'm like, come on, bro, it's like really right there. He's like, but like,
Say,
it's on
brother,
the ground
that's
now. Like, it's
crazy.
good.
That is great.
Yeah, I had to
bro,
out you.
they taught me that shit in like elementary school. Like,
No, for sure. I was also a part of of an education system that taught me not to litter as
Yeah.
well. Also to compost. But
don't you have to compost in
Yeah.
Seattle?
Yes, it's required by law. But
Not this
previous years and younger Tavares, I was like,
A little bit too angsty.
You know?
Like that shit in the
I don't
garbage.
care.
To be angsty on littering is
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah. But then I was etched in my mind was Corey always telling me, bro, you're a fucking bum. Like, stop.
That's really wild.
Stop littering. And I'm like, oh, okay. That I don't like being called a bum by Corey. So let me actually.
Gotta hit where it hurts.
Yeah. It only takes one homie. Like,
Yeah,
Exactly.
Seriously.
Constantly just like, yeah, bro. It's not even necessary. Like, we got too many trash cans, bro. It's good.
Facts.
I do want to start where I always start on this pod. Is like your past and your history. What's it like coming from Tacoma and just like being a Tacoma native? I don't know the acronym, like Tacomite or like
I don't know what it is either.
Tacoman?
Tacoman, yeah, I think it is.
I think
Tacoman,
I be seeing Tacoman in like newspapers and stuff. So.
Well, technically, I'm from Lakewood. I gotta say that. So all my homies back in the wood, no. But yeah. So I grew up like my mom is like from Lakewood or from Tacoma proper.
Okay.
She grew up on the north end, and we used to live on the north end when I was a kid. But we moved to Lakewood when I was like in second grade, and then I was in Lakewood till like I graduated high school. It's like very suburban, like especially like getting older and having friends who grew up in like Seattle. Like I'm not a city kid at all. Like we used to kick it at this McDonald's like religiously. Yeah. Like from 7th grade until people started driving. Every day after school and every day during the summer, we'd all meet up at this McDonald's. And that was kind of like the checkpoint. And then we'd go and kick it at like Custer Elementary or Oakbrook Elementary, or like I had a homie TJ, shout out TJ Woodcock. He lived like in Oakbrook, which is like this neighborhood in like the part of Lakewood I grew up in. Yeah, and like it's like on a golf course. Oh, and there's like the fucking Oakbrook like country club and like just all this dumbass like fake bougie. It like used to be bougie in like the 70s. Yeah, but now it's kind of like whatever. And he lived out there, and like. It's like maybe a 5-minute drive from the McDonald's, but it's like a mob of a walk. And we used to like walk to his house sometimes. But yeah, I like that was kind of like the whole stick. Like sports were really big in Lakewood. Yeah. I like grew up playing like football and wrestling, and it was kind of like if you didn't play sports, you were kind of like. You were a weirdo and not a cool way.
Like, what's going on with this
guy? Like, sports were so centralized in the culture, whether, like my freshman year, like, we won state in basketball. Fire. Like, the dance team, like, always was winning state or placing in state. Yeah. Football team, like, my sophomore year, we were, like, 18th in the country or, like, 12th in the country. Like,
oh, yeah. Like, we'll get busy.
Like, yeah, I got, like, homies that have gone to the league. Like people, yeah. So it was just like very like sports driven. Yeah. And for a long time, I didn't even know you could do anything outside of that.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think it was like thanks to YouTube. Yeah. And I'm trying to think what was the real clicker to like being like, damn, you can like make shit. Oh, actually it was I'll Fight You. Like I had like so like by the time I had started to get into like by my junior year of high school, I was like, I want to like make music. I want to like do stuff. But it was like fucking, you know, there's no ETC in Lakewood. And I don't think ETC wasn't out yet. So there's like the craziest thing you could do is like go to the mall. You could go to the Tacoma Mall. Yeah. Like I used to be a mall rat.
Oh yeah.
Same here.
Like getting dressed, getting on the bus just to go kick it at the mall
all day.
And like think you might like talk to some girls or some shit and nope.
Never.
Window
like, shopping for 10 hours.
Yes.
For no reason.
Like my mom gave me $20. I'm finna get the teriyaki you can get at the mall.
Yes.
Maybe I might get like a keychain.
Exactly.
And that like in a pair of socks and like,
that's really it.
Yeah. And then bus home and hope I can catch the like connecting bus back to my crib. Like and so like eventually, like, I was like, fuck, there's got to be... Or actually, I had, like, a really big turning point one night when there used to be, like, all these, like, house parties. Yeah. And that was kind of, like, my venture into Tacoma is, like, these house parties. And after a while, they started to get, like, shot up. Oh, or damn. People, like shot up, or people would start shooting outside of them. And one time, I think it was, like, on a 4th of July party... And we pulled up and it had already gotten shot up. Oh. And I was just like, fuck,
that's
dude.
the worst.
I can't like die at like a Tacoma house party at like 18
No.
years
exactly.
old. And so I really started trying to think of, like, figure a way out. And at this time, like, the Odd Future thing was happening.
Yeah.
I got really into to Pro Era and like the Joey Badass
Yeah.
thing. And I had like these group of friends that I had made through high school, or like there was people that I had known about and was like, oh, like they would make a great part of the team. And
Yeah.
so I kind of went out and recruited. And then we had this, honestly, I really feel like Brockhampton stole my swag. Because what we had put together was essentially what Brockhampton became.
Yeah.
Where I like went around school and like I knew like one homie, like the homie Darrell, like had taken all their like photo classes and graphic design classes at school.
Yeah.
So I had him come and he was like our in-house like videographer, like
Fire.
photo guy, did all the cover art. And then I had my homie Marquise and he rapped. I had the homie Agnes and he rapped. The homie Booby, he rapped. Taj, she sang. And
Damn,
then-
that's really an all-star cast. Like, it's,
yeah, we had like a crew, and there was like a couple other homies, like the homie Giodi was around. Yeah, there was other homies. I
Yeah.
know I'm forgetting people, but
you were Wu-Tang. Like,
yeah, we had like the crew, and so we started this thing called like West Village, and yeah, it was like a group
Fire.
of like rappers and creatives, and so that was kind of like my first thing. But we were still like in Lakewood, so it's
Yeah.
like there's nowhere to play shows, nowhere to go. There's nowhere
Yeah.
to meet other people. And at this time, I think I'm like it's like my senior year of high school, and the homie Chris, shout out Chris Harmon, he was at UW at the time,
Yeah.
and he comes back for the weekend, and he shows me these two groups. He shows me like 2-9 from Atlanta,
Yeah.
and then he shows me All Fight You. And he's like, All Fight You's like from Tacoma, dog. Like, I just got put on. They played a show at UW. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah.
And because to me, at this point, the only people I known in like Tacoma area who were doing music was Lil Rip, who's now Louis. And at the time, like, his biggest song was this song. It was like Tax City. It was like a fucking Rack City, like, remix. And then there was Dari Losa, who goes by, like, Astro Trap now.
Yep.
And, like, the homie Devon Clark was rapping. And those guys were, like, early adapters. But it still, to me, like, it felt too Tacoma. And then I find out about I'll Fight You, and it was like, whoa.
That refreshing feeling.
Yeah, it was like, damn, you can do this shit. And so, yeah, then I got super into I'll Fight You, like, obsessive, like, nerdy ass shit. Like, I was, like, on YouTube, lurking on the internet, trying to find anything I could about these dudes. And then, like, right after I got into I'll Fight You, I had like noticed that like ETC was a thing, but it wasn't a store yet. But I had like been able to point to connect the dots, and was like, oh, there's this thing ETC.
Oh, you were really on some nerdy like.
Bro, I'd be
research.
still like
Yeah.
I'd be like so
That's
like
so fire.
lurking. I'd be like trying to be tapped in.
Yeah.
And so, so yeah, I find out about ETC, and so now like, and this is like Tumblr's still like a big thing. Like
Yeah.
Chris P, Loki had a crazy poppin' Tumblr, and like ETC, like I think had like
that's a
Tumblr
groovy fact right there.
yeah. And so I was lurking, and I still have like a ton of like FOMO that I missed out. But I was lurking, and I saw that like ETC was opening, and I missed the fucking grand opening, and like. Shout out Sandlot, but like when I'll Fight You was coming up, there was like this crew, Sandlot, and yeah, so it was like this Sandlot like release party or like grand opening, and I'll Fight You played, and it was like this big
Oh, it was
thing,
a big thing, yeah.
and I missed it by a day,
Damn.
you know. But then me and like the crew pulled up the second day ETC was ever opened,
Yeah.
and this is like 2014. And so shit is way different than it is today.
Yeah.
Like just in terms of like technology, like Instagram was a thing, but there's no Instagram story. There's no Spotify's not really a thing yet. SoundCloud is kind of just getting going, but like the average person's not on SoundCloud yet. And so we were still pounding the pavement and like burning CDs and da 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 da. And if my memory serves me correct, I pulled up to ETC and it was the complete opposite of all the like photos I had saw of the grand opening party. Yeah. It's like very empty. The shit, like nobody's in the shop when we pull up. The shop also looks way different. I don't know if you ever made it to 907.
No, never.
But it looks way different than like the shop became to look during the 907 era. And it's just like Umi and P in there, and they're listening to the like Sivia demo, like Isaiah Rashad shit, just to like, and that was like new at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, this is filthy. And I like introduced myself and the homies, and like I still feel pretty awkward, but I was like hella awkward back then. And so I'm sure it was like a awkward ass like exchange. And I like remember before we left, I like was like, oh, and this is like our like mixtape. And I gave them like the CD that I'm sure they never listened to. And then I proceeded to be like a menace and just show up every day. I like started to go to school at UW Tacoma at the end of that summer. And so it's like you could take the light rail from like one side of Pack Ave to the other where ETC was, and I would just pull up every single day and just be a menace. Like, cause I like am a nerd, and like when something's going on, I want to know like why is it happening, how it's happening, why, you know. And so I would just like pull up and just pester niggas and ask hella questions.
Dude, so I want to, even through this story, I've noticed like you have a driving motif about yourself, and which I think is amazing, because most people here like look at things and they're like, oh, that's cool, but it's not obtainable. I really love even just telling like how you made it to ETC was just like, you always knew that there was more to everything, and you always went and figured it out. Like what about you is like what pulls you to just like want to know everything about the things that you love or are interested in?
I really don't know why I am that way, because like I'd say my only other, or not only other love, but the thing I've been the most obsessed about besides music was wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Like both pro wrestling and like amateur, like collegiate, like high school wrestling. And early internet days when you had to get on dial up, the only thing I would do on the internet I'd go to the WWE website and I'd look at everybody who was like the WWE champion from like 1972 to like 2006, you know?
Fire.
I guess it's like in a much less tactile way. It's like when you meet people and they're like, they take everything apart and put it back together.
Yeah.
I'm really into that, but in terms of like context, you know? So it's like, I don't know what it was like to be on the block in 97 and for the new fucking Mace album to drop.
Facts.
Because I wasn't, you know, I was 2 years old. But I want to try to the best of my ability to gather enough information to kind of be able to piece it together enough in my head to get, you know, what that moment could have meant.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's just been like that for me with anything in life. And when I got into music, it was like, people do this.
Yeah.
And there's a way to do this. How can I do this? And I think the I'll Fight You thing was a really big, like, switch flip for me in terms of, like, being where I'm at and figuring it out. Like, I don't think I'd even be in Washington still if it wasn't for I'll Fight You. That, like, made me want to, like, stay and try
here
to,
and
like,
really make it.
Yeah, figure it out while I'm here.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Big round of applause.
Yeah. No, please.
That's amazing for personally to me, just because to me that's a hero's journey. You took the steps to like figure out like what path you wanted to walk, and just like didn't stop when you got like a quick answer or an early answer. You were just like, nah, I needed to know it all. And as soon as you were showed it, it kind of like it evolved to like you pushing yourself to just showing up to ETC every day and just figuring out like, how do I place myself in this? And I think it showed off because like even what you do today is like very reminiscent of you just like, nah, I know niggas is here, I'm pulling up here.
Yeah, exactly. Just like really, like, yeah, especially back then I was really forcing it. Like,
Yeah.
And I think as I've gotten older, I kind of miss the like brash, like dickheaded urgency I had back then. Like, I still very much feel like that, but like I used to really like, bro, at one point I probably couldn't even like had a beat that was playable and I'd be like, bro, I'm the shit, It's like, cause I knew that I was gonna like get to where I was going.
Yeah.
But now, like, I don't know, now I'm an adult and it's like, maybe that is not the best way to like come across. But like when you're like 17, 18, 19, you don't have any, like, you just haven't been humbled.
Yeah.
And you have no, nobody's telling you that's not the way you should come across.
Facts. And I feel like at that age, like, you earn a lot more respect for coming across like, nah, like, this shit is going. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like, I still have, like, I wouldn't say resentment, but I definitely don't take certain niggas that are around serious for how unserious they took me when I started popping up. Just because it was like, dog, I told you niggas I was finna do this shit.
And now I'm here, and like now you're like celebrating with me, and it's cool. Yeah. Like I'm never gonna not let you celebrate my win, but I know what you told me when it wasn't a win.
Or it's just like they're still doing the same shit they were doing when I pulled up on them asking questions as a 17-year-old.
Yeah. And
it's just like, yeah, I guess like things didn't work out with us because you didn't really have anything to offer me in the first place.
Facts.
But
has that having that like how has that been as far as like having people like double back and as like you now are getting magazine write-ups like I would say almost like once a month now of what it feels like to like I guess the outside. I know they're probably like months and months ago and you're just like, oh shit, I forgot like we did this wherever we were. But like what's that like having people come back to you and be like, oh shit, like I didn't know or things like that. Do you appreciate the I guess the apology or the recanting of it?
Yeah, but I will say not a lot of people like doubted me. It was just kind of like all right, I guess we'll wait and see. There was only like one cast or crew who I really felt like did not get the Aramis thing at all.
Yeah.
But I do think like with the band, I think if you like knew me and like were like hanging out with me, you knew it was like coming or I was talking about it. But a lot of people are like, whoa, I didn't see this like coming.
Yeah.
Which I think is like flattering that I have been able to like pivot and adapt.
Yeah.
You know, and still surprise like other people as well as myself.
That's amazing. Can I just get one more? Just a light.
Say no more.
Just a light one. I know we're about to take like a little quick break just to let it air out.
And you knew. That's what I'm talking about, man. This guy, showrunner.
Nah, I'll wait till we get back. Let me hear it out.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're gonna see us in a few skis, you guys. You already know what's going on, baby. All right, Groovers, we are back at it. Yes, sir. Last we left, Corey wanted to ask a question.
What got you into photography?
Honestly, I kind of always had an inkling for it. Just like wanting to be a little like hipster wannabe, like towards the end of high school, and like when film kind of got really popular again, I definitely like initially got into it for the trend of it, but I think when I really started to really respect it as like an art form, I'm a huge magazine fan. And magazines really influenced my pivot from like rap music to rock music.
Yeah.
And there was this The Fader was one of my go-to magazines, and they did this cover story on this band Girlpool, and this photographer Molly Madelon, I think is how you say her name, did the photos for it.
Oh, fire.
And then so I started going down the rabbit hole of her work, and then that like led me to like more art tour photographers. And then I just kind of got down that rabbit hole and got really into it. And yeah, it's actually something I've been thinking about a lot again lately.
Yeah.
Because I've kind of put it on pause. But yeah, I love photos. Like, I love what they can mean. I love how they can be interpreted. And I really enjoyed the time capsule aspect of them.
Yeah.
Like, every photo I've ever taken, at least on film, I can tell you probably 5 minutes about like what was happening around that 5 minutes.
Oh, that's fire, dude. Because I've seen a little bit of your work, but I kind of was like introduced to you being like the homie photographer, as far as like Bougie was telling me. He was like, yeah, I met Aramis, and he would like always would have a camera on him. It's like,
I got a camera on me right now. I never leave the house without one, but yeah, I definitely I honestly just haven't found a muse currently that I'm really inspired by. I think I like really enjoy portrait work.
Yeah.
And so for a long time, like Bougie was my muse, and I have like probably hundreds of photos of Bougie.
Yeah.
I could probably do like a whole like collection.
Drop a whole book on them.
Of just Bougie stuff. And then I was like really inspired by my friend Brooke. And then I was also really inspired by like the nightlife and being out and like the Toe Jam stuff and like going out and being at Q and all the like just random people you would see out. But I haven't really felt like that for a while, but it's starting to I think I'm going to reapproach it just from a more serious aspect of like really searching out like the subjects I want to photograph. Like one of the homies in Ginny, I have noticed that I really want to start like photographing.
Yeah. Which homie?
The homie Jasper. I haven't even talked to him about it, but he pulled up to Ian's birthday party and was like, damn, this nigga looks hella filthy.
Yeah, it's like, gotta flick him up real quick.
Yeah, like
that's really dope. I love that you approach photography in that way. It's in the same vein as you like approach music and things of that, just on like the research level aspect. But I also love that you come at it also more technically and more artsy, which I think is really dope. Because like as a photographer, I guess I'm trying to become more artsy as well, and just like pick out whole shoots that I want to do instead of just like randomly just shooting, because that's what I end up doing a lot of the time. But I love how your brain has broken down like pictures and moments like that, because I try to be in the same vein, especially with film, because it's like, one, I got to develop it, or I got to pay a nigga to develop it. So it's like I got capturing that moment or just creating that vibe is always very necessary, I feel like.
Right, and it's like I like have gotten into arguments with the homies before where they'll be like, flick me up, and I'll be like, no. And it's like I only want to take photos that I want to take.
Exactly.
Like, and yeah, I don't know. I think also what I've really enjoyed about like photographs and like the subjects that I've been able to photograph, where it's like somebody could take the same photo I took, but I think something I pride myself in is the approach and how I request to take somebody's photo, especially when it's like the homie.
Yeah.
There's like a certain level of intimacy that I think is not transferable. That I think really comes out in like the photos I've taken that I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Did dabbling in photography for the both of you like create this perfectionist mindset?
I'm not a perfectionist at all. I like brag about like I'm not a perfectionist at all. Like I think I probably should be. I was thinking last night before I went to bed, and I didn't do it this morning because I fucking woke up late. But I was like, I need to be more disciplined.
Yeah.
You know? And I think having a little bit of perfectionism could help me. But I like to keep things raw. I like for it, Yeah, I'm searching for like intimacy,
Yeah.
you know, and like a through line with intimacy and like having that be as transparent as possible. And I think when things are too perfect, sometimes that intimacy gets lost.
Yeah. Wow. I would say I'm a little bit of a perfectionist because of I guess how I want to create things and just like display them. I want them as close to in my head as I can get it. And oftentimes I don't achieve that at all, especially shooting film. So I'm always searching for that like middle ground of like correct lighting, how I see it in my, as close to the eye as we can get.
Right.
So a lot of the time I won't post photos, or like I'll do a whole shoot and just like send a nigga one photo back, and I'm like, I took like 40 of these. I'm just like, the lighting was only really like in my head on this one. So.
Yeah. I definitely get that. I'm definitely very particular with my photos. Though. I wouldn't say like I have like a perfectionist like mindset, but I almost always know whether or not the photo was good from the click of the shutter before I even get the film back.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I think like I've been like really inspired though, photo wise by like the homie Raphael, and just like when you have a certain level of technical knowledge, then it makes the rest easy if you have that. I don't even have a word to describe it, but there's like this innate, just like a sense of knowing.
Yeah.
You know, which I think is very important when you're taking photos.
No, facts.
I only ask it because I grew up a perfectionist. You know, that's my that comes natural to me, and like my whole life I was like, I got to get this right on the tee, or it's like nothing to me. And I've known that growing and developing my creativity, at least with podcasting and making my own music, that I've grown away from that mindset, and I've learned to honestly be undisciplined from what I was grown to be, just because I will spend hours on hours end of like the whole inception of the project that I would lose that intimacy of creating a product or like music that I personally love. So man, thank you for answering that.
Yeah.
If I could ask, because we haven't got to it, I wanted to ask how Enumclaw came to be, and how you got to this point of basically picking up the guitar and songwriting.
Yeah, so Enumclaw, the like pieces that became Enumclaw had kind of been around since I kind of started popping out in the scene. They were just like my friends that weren't in like the rap scene necessarily. And so I had that group Westville, and I was like making beats like for Westville. And around that time I had started to really get into like indie rock, guitar-based music, and I really wanted to like write songs. But I didn't know how to play the guitar. I didn't even think I had a guitar at the time. And it just like, I would try to like write songs over beats I made, and like, I'm sure if I looked hard enough, I could find them. Excuse me. And, but it never clicked. It never really felt like it was working in the way I wanted it to. And, I was so go that it like, to learn an instrument, you really have to like sit down and like focus on it. So then after a couple of years, I bought like a guitar. And then I think the real turning point for me was I had met LaDaniel, who plays drums in Enumclaw, through my friend Benji. Benji, for years, was like, you got to meet LaDaniel, you got to meet LaDaniel, you got to meet LaDaniel. To the point where I was like, fuck this nigga LaDaniel, bro. Like, what the, you know?
Who the fuck is he?
Yeah, exactly. Like, who the fuck is this nigga? But LaDaniel pulled up to the very first Toe Jam. We kicked it. He was hella cool. And then a few months after that, we finally started to like kick it as homies. And LaDaniel was already playing guitar and writing songs at that time. And it was just really inspiring to me. Yeah. And he kind of like allowed me the space to like doodle around or noodle around with him like on the guitar and to like fucking pretend to write songs or you know, and it never made me feel weird about it. And then things were slowing down for me in other departments. Like I think Toe Jam had stopped and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And so I just like had more time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm really going to learn how to play the guitar. And I think like the summer I had hung out with LaDaniel and we had started kind of doing some stuff together, really like inspired me and kind of gave me the inkling that I could like actually do this thing.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like, I just kind of like really made it a priority. And then, so this is like 2019 now.
Okay.
And I'm like every day, like guitar. And then we had, like things were, yeah, it was kind of like things with the like, yeah.
I just looked at the corner of my eye. I was like, why do I see like a heat wave? I was like, I see smoke in here.
It was about to cook us all.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I see smoke in here and shit. My bad.
Oh, no, you're all good. But around the same time, so before the band and post Toe Jam, I had started this thing called Sweet A, and it was essentially trying to be like a creative agency, and we were trying to do like a magazine, and we were putting on events, and like we were just trying to build this like overarching brand that like would do all this other stuff. We like managed like this rap group called the Check Team. We actually were managing Daniel, and that was kind of like winding down, or I just kind of didn't have it. I just wasn't. I had this realization one day where it was just like, am I going to spend the rest of my life trying to help other people do what I want to do with my life? And I was like, no, and especially not if I didn't give it a good, honest go. Because everything I had done from Westville up until that point was putting somebody else at the forefront of the thing we were doing. And it's really hard to rely on other people and for people to want it as bad as you. And, yeah, so I just was like, what would happen if I put myself at the forefront and I, you know, if shit doesn't work, it's all on me.
Yeah.
And so things started to wind down with Sweet A, and, like, we just didn't have the capital, essentially, to do all the things we wanted to do in the ways we wanted to do them. And so around the same time, we were hanging out at this spot called Bob's Java Jive every Monday. Like, so, yeah, like fucking 3 years ago, we'd be going to fucking Bob's tonight. And, like, Nathan, who's also in the band, he plays guitar, and LaDaniel would come out with their girlfriends, and we'd all sing karaoke. And at this time, like, we had a studio space for Sweet A, and the homie who was helping LaDaniel with his music had left a drum kit. And so we would be hanging out in there, and one day... And now I'm starting to get a couple songs on the guitar, like, oh, I wrote this little song, or, you know, I'm starting to, like, make a little bit of headway, and I'm like, we should start a band one night at Karaoke Monday. I'm like, what would you think if we all started a band? Because I felt like they were leaps and bounds ahead of me musically, but I definitely felt like I had the, like, I had already, like, pounded the pavement for so long, and I had these relationships, and I had all these ideas, and I felt like if we came together as like a unit, we could really
achieve a lot.
Take it to that next spot. And they kind of like were like, fuck it, why not? And so I want to say that next week we just started like getting together, and at first it was like very loose because like I didn't know really what I was doing. I hadn't really played music with other people. And then LaDaniel was originally going to play bass, but we had this drum kit laying around. And so LaDaniel started playing drums, and it's like way easier to find a bass player than it is to find a drummer. And so thank God he did that. And so he started learning how to play drums. And we would get together every like couple of days or once or twice a week. And then we got rid of the studio space, and we moved all the equipment to LaDaniel's house. And so then we started practicing in LaDaniel's bedroom. And then, so this is from like July of 2019 till March of 2020. So now it's March of 2020, and like we actually have like songs. We have like 3 songs, and we get in the studio and we record like these 3 demos, and we like have a show booked for like April 17th, and things are starting to like, there's a little bit of momentum coming. And we were gonna go by Jimbo. We weren't even called Enumclaw at the time. We were gonna go by Jimbo, and then, as everybody knows, COVID happened. We didn't play the show, and so we took like a month or 2 off just because it was like, whoa, like are we finna like what's going on? And during that time, it was the first time I had ever spent time at home in my life since like 7th, 8th grade. Like from like the time I was in middle school till like fucking COVID happened, I had jam-packed my schedule to the point where I could just never be at home. I was in school that whole time. So I'm in school Monday through Friday. Yeah. I started working at 16, so when I'm not at school, I got to go to work. Then I was trying to make it and do the music thing. So then when I'm not at school or work, I'm trying to do music shit. And so, yeah, I might be at home on a Sunday or if I had a cold. Yeah. But other than that, I'm like, go, 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 go. And then, like, I finished school in 2019. And then COVID happens. And so now I don't got a job. I don't got school. I ain't got nothing else to do. And so it was kind of like a big restart for the band and for me. Yeah. And then I just hit this, like, crazy run of, like, creativity, like all this stuff and all these ideas and everything I had built up over this year of like being go, 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 go and never having time to like really sit and access this started to unfold. And so I think I wrote the first song that like became an Enumclaw song in April of 2020. And then from that point on, I was writing 2 songs a week, which is like, I think if you write songs, it's a fuck ton of songs. Yes. And I think I was writing like 1 to 2 songs. That's an insane amount of songs. Exactly. I was writing 1 to 2 songs a week up until June of last summer. And so like just going. And then we started reconvening at LaDaniel's house. And yeah, I had all these new songs. And so that brought in like a new life into the band. And I think with COVID happening and everybody was like, it kind of forced everybody to be more bought in than they were pre-COVID.
Yeah, because what else were we doing?
Yeah, and so we just kind of got tapped in and we just were hit, like, there was nothing else to do. So it was like band practice 2 times a week at least. And then if I wasn't at band practice, I was writing songs. And then, so yeah, now we're going. We decided to change the name. Chris P actually was like the deciding factor in calling the band Enumclaw. One time I was at the post office studios and was like, oh, we got to change the band name. And I think it was like, one of the options was Frazier, because my mom's like maiden name is like Frazier.
Fire.
And then the other one was Enumclaw. And Chris P was like, nah, you should go with Enumclaw. I still remember, I think there's like a video or there's some document of that night. And then we just got locked in, and then we couldn't find a bass player for the longest. And we like tried out a couple homies. Like the homie Brooke has played bass with us a couple times, but he like had his own stuff going on at the time and was about to like go back to school, so like he couldn't do it. And then I don't know if you guys know the homie Noah Sampson,
videographer.
Yeah. He came and jammed with us one night.
That's fire.
And we all went out to the bar afterwards, and we were like, dude, like that was like if like I was like, damn, like you should join the band. And then he kind of bullshitted the band.
Motherfuckers shooting videos.
But eventually I told my younger brother Eli, like because Eli had started to come around and was hanging out at like Sweet A and stuff, and he was like making beats and stuff at the time. And I was like, if you buy a bass, you can be in the band. And so that summer, while we were like finishing up like what became like the Jimbo Demo EP, Eli would be up here at our older brother's house in Seattle on a fucking bicycle doing DoorDash to like save up. And he saved up and he bought a bass in a car that summer. And so so then I was like, fuck it, I guess you can be in the band. He bought the bass, and the rest is honestly history.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah. You already know what I was about to say. You're probably like sitting at home wondering why the fuck Tavares hasn't spoken like 25
What is that, like?
minutes.
It's like
But
I'm looking here. I'm like,
the huge reason why
like, what do
is
we gotta
because
ask?
I am. This is honestly amazing to me to sit down with Aramis and have these conversations, just because everything you have shared with us along your journey, I have a parallel to. Just finding myself and my identity through music, being passionate about other things, and having those like outside worlds collide with my passion. And then also, coming up from a very strong sports background and not knowing, what there is outside of sports in Washington. This is just one of those, honestly, like key moments in my life, because what you're doing is what you and your bandmates are doing, what the whole group is doing is what I aim to do, is put Washington on this huge platform, but also not let it take away from who I am as a person. And I think you do that unequivocally, like you do that just by being you. Your presence itself, you being outside, you and your friends, your bandmates, when you're together and we're just passing each other by. I feel it. I feel this sense of proud inability of being true to who you are, but also representing all the key factors that played a role in your life. We were running through most of Enumclaw's discography earlier today. I mean, I did it last night. Just to refresh in my brain, and just everything y'all do, from the band style to your songwriting, the way you sing on the songs. These are so nostalgic to our area. It's so Washington. It, like, people don't understand that. They hear it and they're like, that's indie rock, that's grunge, but people don't understand. This is Washington sound.
Yeah, we did an interview recently for the band, and they were asking about like what effect Washington has like on our music, and I think it's so hard to put into words or in a tangible form, because it simply is just like, bro, I was born in Tacoma General. Like, I don't know. This is all I know. Like,
Exactly.
I don't think I could make a different type of music if I wanted.
It's our essence. And I think, you guys are a huge aspect of like the melting pot culture Washington is. Not only is Seattle like that, not only is Tacoma like that, you'll find like huge pockets and areas in this state that are smaller versions of what we got going on out here. But the huge fact about it is how accepting we are of each other, and how that reflects on our art, culture, and music. And y'all just blow it out of the park with what you do. I wanted to switch up the vibe real quick and ask you, in the video, Jimmy Neutron, were you standing on a stand on the beach?
No.
With the model.
I told you she was short. I told you.
She's short.
Okay. Hey, she looked very tall in the music video.
Bro, it's crazy what a camera can do, but now she's shorter than me.
First of all, I was like, he said that. I was like, nah, she's just short.
Nah, she's just short. Yeah.
I was like, they wouldn't play Aramis like that. Also, he wouldn't even do it. If she was taller, he would just rock. Like,
if she was taller than me, I would just, like,
I'm just hold you up here, baby girl. Like, it's nothing. I'm really in awe of your journey to this point, because just hearing it was like, I can't believe motherfuckers doubted that you would be here. Because, like, just taking us through the motions of, like, how you pushed yourself and really just, like, made it work. Like, even when, like, because this is a COVID baby itself. Like, most people took COVID and was like, oh, I'm chilling, or, like, I'm scamming. Like, you went and, like, nah, I'm going to figure out this thing that I've already been building and connecting with, and just, like, adding to my life and just make it go another level. And I really, 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 hold on, make sure I'm not just talking about. Paying attention since since Enumclaw since I saw you at the Glenn show. Like that was the first time I got to experience and be like, what, like, who the fuck are these guys and why they're so amazing? And like to hear the process of just like the time you were putting in to become on that stage, and then see you like within that 6 months of like performing there and just like on tour, EP drop, and just like see you guys climb, but never like whenever I see you in the city, it's the same amount of love when I saw you the first time I saw you. And I love that like you carry that, I guess, very humble but very knowledgeable of like, I'm supposed to be here, but it's not even an arrogant or like a bravado. It's just like this was written. I did the fucking work. This was here for me.
It was already written.
I think it's beautiful, especially because of the way your brain works. I feel like is evident of like what you have and what you've been able to obtain and just like materialize. You've always, for me, just hearing your story, you've always been like the coach of like, I'm gonna put people together and we're gonna make it work. And then even understanding that eventually that you're like, nigga, I gotta play. Like I can't keep coaching niggas that can't work. So I just think having that hunger and that mindset, like you will be one of the greatest bands to come out of Washington. Like you got to battle Pearl Jam at like 20 years from now, it's gonna be you and Pearl Jam, and at least in my eyes. And I know with your guys' work ethic, it'll be evident. What's it like for you growing at this rate of going from like opening for Glenn maybe a year and a half ago to like doing a European and Japan tour, you know, maybe a year later?
It's like some days it's like weird because some days it feels like fuck, this shit is happening hella fast, and then other days it feels like it's not happening fast enough. You know, where it is like shit's happening really fast, and when you sit back and you put it into perspective, and it's like, a year ago at this time, I think we might have played 5 shows. Yeah. And, like, to see all the shows we have played, like, in a year from now, and then to be, like, less than a month away from another, like, huge, like, full U.S. tour, and have a, like, album to come out on a record label.
Hold on.
And to have fans. I had a really cool moment that, like, has really like stood out to me, and I've been blessed to have a couple moments like this over the last year. But yeah, like I don't know, I like really take pride in writing songs, and like the songs mean a lot to me. Yeah. And oftentimes people don't ask about the songs, which is fine, which is whatever, you know. Like if you fuck with the band, you fuck with the music, cool. Exactly. But there's this dude that I had met. I had met him at the Zodiac. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but if he's watching this, I hope he knows who he is. And he like fucked with the band, and I think it was right around the time like 2002 had just come out. Yeah. And he's like, damn, I like hella fuck with like the song, like and he expressed like fucking with like some of the like lyrics in that song too. But actually, like what was that, like 2 weeks ago now at like QJ and Friends, he was there. And we just put out this song like Park Lodge. Yeah. And he like was like on some like I don't want to bother you type shit, which he like wasn't, but he's like, I really want to know like what this line in this like new song is about. And it was like really eye-opening to me that like people are really paying attention, and like, you know, these songs that I write on my couch can go out in the world and like mean something. And the fact that like that is like happening at a rate that I can't really wrap my head around is like really, because it's like, there's like people all over the world that like fuck with my band, and you know, it's like to be able to like have that impact is like, you know, sometimes I have to stop and be like, that is enough for today. Yeah. You know? And
I mean, you're doing amazing as far as just like pushing the band and like really guiding it. I do want to hold this like space to just be like, you guys are fucking doing amazing as far as like as what I see as Washington's greatest thing musically going on. It's Enumclaw. Like you guys are my favorite group, band, whatever, like however you're labeled today. in the state, just because I know like you're giving great visuals, great music, and like real great shows. And it's not, and people wise, you all are amazing. Like we got like you did a house party at the crib, and like I got to kick it with you guys, and it wasn't like no one that came from the show or anyone in the band or connected to the band was like, fuck it, I'm finna go crazy because there's no connection to me.
Yeah.
And it just shows at a level of like, you guys will be will be forever, but also you guys will stand the test of time here just because you've seen, I guess, like you personally have seen the landscape go up and down, and you've had a hand in like guiding a lot of it. So I'm just so in awe of like how meant to be it was, just because it's just like, you guys are the most amazing band since Oasis. Like this is like, I know it's like it was merge effort, but like I look at it and like from on paper to like what's happening in real time, it's just like you guys keep showing the world like why Enumclaw deserves to be one of the best bands, but deserves all the flowers that it's getting, just because it's like the work is there, the songwritings are there, the fucking visuals are. Every time you guys drop a music video, I'm like, fuck. Like I'm
it
so
teleports me.
nostalgic.
It's
Yeah.
like, it takes me back in time. Like I remember just growing on this type of shit.
Yes.
And watching it on MTV, VH1, and like this is home. Like, you know, and then it's even more sweeter that these guys are from down the street.
Yes.
This is honestly amazing. Sorry, brother.
No. I'm never mad you're gonna chime in. I don't know. I personally am very inspired by what you guys are creating, and it personally allows me to push here. Like I know Washington, everything that everyone's like, oh, we're not gonna get it here. You got to look at you guys and Enumclaw and just be like, nah, it's very much obtainable and it's very much real. You just have to leverage what the fuck you're doing in the space and not take anything for granted and work your ass off. And like it's very evident that you've not only have done it, you are literally a blueprint for anyone making fucking music here to be like, you can take them next steps. You can become whatever you want to be in this space. And I do want to just acknowledge that, like, you are a very big inspiration, especially with the visuals of just like taking these moments that we've got to like see as kids and like bands that we've like grown up on and just bring it back to an era that it's like so not obsessed with the same things that we were, and just bring back like a collectible sense to like music again. Like once you drop vinyl, it's like, oh, you've already dropped vinyl.
Yeah.
But once we drop more,
I can't wait for the like album vinyl to come out, 'cause we like put a lot of time and thought into the packaging. And so there's like a regular version and then just like a limited edition version, and the limited edition version comes with like a newspaper. And like the newspaper is like, it has like all the album credits, but it has all this like other shit, and it has like all this like shit that like we had the homies tap in to like help put together, and it like. Yeah, I think it really gives a window into like what it's like to be like on the ground in like the Enumclaw camp and just like the real life aspect of it. So I
love that, because it's
for people
like
to see that.
No one, I'm not gonna say no one's really doing that, but it's a very lost art to care about. Like, now we put energy into the packaging. We didn't just throw hella photos that we took and just
no
like
one's doing
tour
it.
Moments. Like no one is really like.
Sorry,
especially here.
Yeah, no one's doing that.
Especially here is like making like full pieces. Like you're making collectibles. Like Japan, who like loves vinyl. Like those are the niggas we're gonna be competing with to get your vinyls. Like that shit is like legendary to me, just because I love packaging. I love people who take their time, and like from the first CD to like how you guys have when Jimbo came out and how that was packaged to. I can't wait to see how
we've really stepped it up with this one. I'm like super hyped.
Save the Baby.
I want to ask, where did the name come? Save the Baby.
Save the Baby. I think it just kind of popped into my head one day in terms of thinking about the state of my life, and the writing process for like the album was very like organic in terms of like what I was talking about, were like the 2 songs a week
for
like a year. And I just was I had gone through a breakup at like the beginning of COVID. That really forced me to take a good look at myself.
Yeah.
And I realized I'm the baby, you know, and I need to save myself before I end up in a spot that I don't want to be in, you know, in so many ways, you know, whether it is like with the band shit, like, honestly, like, before, like, it was about to take off, I was going to do a crazy pivot, and I was going to move to New York, and I was going to take a break from music, and I was going to try to pursue editorial photography work.
Wow.
Like, literally, like, was, like, going to move in April of 2021, had already been looking at places, already, like, had, like, roommates I was going to move with. They ended up moving to New York.
Yeah.
And the whole nine. But, like, literally, like, you can ask ETC. I was, like, going down to the shop and, like, getting boxes to, like, pack up my apartment.
Yeah.
And things kind of just took off. But it very much is, like, felt like at the time my, like, last shot to really do this thing. But yeah, it means so many different things.
Yeah.
It's like hard to really articulate it as one thing, but
That's
but it's
beautiful.
more so of like I'm trying to ask the question is like, have you ever had to like save anything?
That's fucking deep as hell. Fucking fire.
I'm gonna give a
please.
I think it's so funny. I don't even know what the sound effect sounds
You're
like.
gonna watch it back and be like, oh, claps.
They're all hand claps.
I do have I have one Toe Jam question. What was that era like for you and Bougie? And what led to the walk away? If as much as you would like to share.
I mean, I have no problem talking about the whole thing. I doesn't faze me. I'm winning it.
Yeah.
But I think in the same way the band is like a result of an end of an era, I think Toe Jam is the result of a peak of an era. And before Toe Jam had happened, like, I was DJing for Gulavelli, I was DJing for Bougie, like, BBE was a thing, ETC was still really, or not ETC, but All Fight You was still really, like, hot and active.
Yeah.
And so there was just all this, like, culture happening. 30 was still, like, a thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're, like, Peasant Boys, like, fucking, like, Ralph Dozier, like, if you know, you know.
Wow.
Young Tata was still in town. Like, there was just all this stuff going on. And Bougie definitely being my, like, ace in the hole at the time. We were just, like, tapped in all the time. And trying to think about the best way to articulate this. But yeah, it was just like fuck, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just like a moment in time where like everything was popping.
Yeah.
Like every time you went out, there was something cool going on. There's people to meet. There's something happening. Everything was new. And I felt like Toe Jam really capitalized on that. Because before Toe Jam, there, like, to my knowledge, for like people my age or of our like generation amongst the scene, there was no common meeting place. And so Toe Jam became the first place where it was like, oh, I like we're mutuals on Instagram. They do cool shit, I do cool shit, but there's never been a like excuse really for us to link. And so Toe Jam became the first type of place like that in the city. And it had a good run, and I think first and foremost, it really truly came to an end because me and Taylor, who I worked on Toe Jam with, could never come to an agreement, you know? And it was very much the cliche of, like, we didn't expect it to be, you know? With the band, I knew the band was going to work. With Toe Jam, it was really just, like, an idea I had and something I had wanted to do for a while, and I was doing it for my friends, you know? I didn't think it was going to be what it became. And so I had done the first Toe Jam by myself. Like, the whole origin story is, like, shout out H103. I was living in this apartment with Gary. Like, I don't know if you guys know about Gary, the producer.
No, I don't think I'm familiar.
But yeah, shout out Gary Ferguson. But I was living with
It's not produced by Gary, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
So I was living with Gary, and Gary had the studio at the crib, and so everybody just was over all the time. And Gulavelli, I should say. Gulavelli got booked to play this like house show, or Gulavelli and Austin got booked to play this house show at UPS, which is like a university in Tacoma.
Yeah.
And at this time, I hadn't been going to parties in Tacoma because of all the shootings and shit.
Yeah.
And we get booked to play this show, and this is like peak like SoundCloud era rap, you know, and the kids at the show know all the words. They know all the ghoul like songs. It was going crazy.
Yeah.
And it really, shout out to Flamingo Room. Shout out Drew Abelson. But it really opened my eyes to what could be possible in Tacoma again. And so after that, I was like, fuck it, we're throwing a party. And shout out Matt. Matt connected me with Oliver, who owned this place called the Fulcrum, which is like this art gallery space in Tacoma. And so I get tapped in with Oliver. He lets us rent the space out for the night for $400. The homie Trey helps me and bartends for the night. At this point, this is still kind of early in this, like, in terms of things going on. So I don't know. I also just don't think there was as many DJs in the scene yet at the time. Yeah. So I don't know a lot of DJs at the time. I had met Q from 30 and being around, and we were already cool at that time. So, excuse me. I asked Q to DJ, and then I had met Taylor because we had played me and Gabe, or fuck it, I'm going to just call him by his name. Me and Gabe and Austin and like the whole BBE group had played a show at the Vair with the Peasant Boys. Yeah. And at the time, Taylor was the Peasant Boys DJ. And Taylor was also making these really cool VHS edits. And so I'd asked Taylor to DJ, and then in terms of like marketing the party, I'd asked him to if he would be down to help make like little edits to promote the party.
Oh, fire.
And so he did. And then, so yeah, at that point we had the party in motion. I had known I had wanted to incorporate like an art element and have artists display their work. And we're still going?
No, yeah, we're still going. Sorry.
Okay.
So sorry. We just ran out of memory.
And
you're doing off. Yep.
And so I had asked my friend Savannah to display her artwork, and then Sean Parker at the time did me a big favor and agreed to play. I think maybe him and Gabe played. I can't remember, or actually, yeah, I don't know. Can't remember the exact details, but we do the party and it's free. I do it for free.
Oh,
because it's like my goal is just about having a good time, so it's free. So we essentially lose like money.
Yeah.
And but it goes well, and everybody who came had a really good time.
Yeah.
And so after the thing, or after the party, Taylor's like, this was like really cool. I'd be down to like throw in some money to help you do the next one. So then at that point, we agreed to like start working together.
Yeah.
And the second one happens, and I had met B. Hayes at the Playboy Cardi Lil Uzi Vert show, and we had already been like tapped in. And at the time, based on just peeping like what was going on, this guy Mo was really starting to like bubble.
Yeah.
And so I tap in with B. Hayes, like, dude, do you think you can get Mo to come out and play my party? And he sets it up, and so Mo comes out, and then I'm already homies with Your Highness at this time, and I come up with the idea, like, we should get Your Highness to host the party. So then we get Your Highness to host the party, and then, so yeah, Mo's playing, Your Highness is hosting, I DJ, Taylor DJs, and I think Ramos. Yeah. Shout out Ramos, by far my favorite person I've met through music. Such a solid dude. So Ramos DJs, and intentionally but unintentionally, all of a sudden we have Tacoma, Federal and Seattle in the building.
Yeah.
And it like and they all bring out their own crews, and so now it's like fuck, that night goes off crazy, and now it's a thing. And then shout out Taylor, because he had the really good idea of having Do Normal, who was really bubbling at the time, and Women, Weed, and Wi-Fi come out and play the party. So now we're Toe Jam 3, and by Toe Jam 3, boom, it explodes. It's like a thing. It's a hit.
It's one of the biggest events in the city.
Yeah, already.
And
so now
in town.
Yeah, so now we're thrust into the spotlight of all the like happenings of what happens when you get popping in fucking like Seattle Tacoma nightlife. But me and Taylor had never kicked it.
Oh.
Like, we had legitimately never kicked it.
You just work together.
Yeah, so then it became like all this thing, and like, I care about shit being cool.
Yeah.
I'm not moved by money. It's probably to a fault. I probably could have made way more money in my day if I was, but I'm just simply not moved by money. Money will come, money will go, but I really wanted to do something different, and I really wanted to try to scale up the party in a different kind of way than Taylor had envisioned. And so we had always butt heads where I felt like he wanted to do things that were going to make the party bigger in ways that I didn't want to make the party bigger. I wanted it to be cool. I wanted it to be exclusive. I wanted it to try to incorporate different things into the scene.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we just like... we just butted heads in that regard a lot, and then we did a party once a month for a year straight. And I also think a lot about like longevity and the mark you leave on things, and everything has their moment. And I felt like Toe Jam had hit its moment. We had done 13 parties in the course of a year, and I felt like it would be cooler to walk away. And we decided to walk away. We did this big ass piece with City Arts.
Yeah.
And I felt like, boom, for the next 20 years, people will always look back on Toe Jam like, damn, that was a crazy time and place, you know? And then it dies out for a couple months. And then Taylor hits me up. I'm still in Tacoma. He's in Seattle at the time. And this is like another thing I didn't really enjoy about working with Taylor is he always spoke about the party on like, he spoke on behalf of the party without my knowledge a lot. And so he hits me up, and he's like, I think we should bring the party back. I think Eric, shout out Eric, I don't know if you guys know Eric, but that's my dog. But he's like, I think Eric should be involved. I've been talking to Red Bull. Red Bull wants to get involved. And truth be told, there was a lot of money left on the table. Like, Toe Jam at its peak had become a very lucrative business.
Yeah, you guys were the best known party for people our age and our era to be like, oh, you going to Toe Jam is like that. Like, I was always resentful for never going to a Toe Jam because I was like, it's fucking lit every time, and I'm always like either at work or I hear a nigga talking about it the day after and I'm sick. So like, for me and what like I guess what you guys left was what you achieved as far as that era of like having the best parties, but like also a certain amount of mysterious or like I would say not a door, but like you gotta familiar yourself around it to really just get involved and be there.
Yeah, and so we decided to bring it back with the help of Red Bull to like try to level it up. But very quickly, we found ourselves in the same disagreements that we had been having previously. And so, yeah, I just was like, this shit should have already been done. I think we did 3 more parties after I decided to come back, and one of them was the like big like Red Bull Toe Jam like event at the Showbox.
Yeah,
and I felt like even then it should have ended, just because like. Things come and go, and and it's like a big influence to me, at least around that time, was like 40-ounce Bounce, which was already weaning at the time. 1 a.m. by Yes Jules was this like really cool like it party for a while.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just was like, I want to do something bigger than this, and like this, it felt like based on the way things were set up, we had hit the ceiling with it. and creatively it wasn't fulfilling me anymore. And so yeah, I decided to walk away.
No, rightfully so. I mean, I feel like what you came and like started it for, you achieved, and like and just knowing like how you are creatively, and like especially saying that like if it's not cool, like what the fuck is the point? I feel like I definitely would agree with that. Of like, yeah, if I'm doing more work for something that I don't even find like cool or relevant at the time, like what am I in the space for?
Right, and it's like I had like started to want to do the like guitar band thing around that time, and yeah, I think a lot of people get too caught up in the scene, and it's like throwing a like successful party in Seattle. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but it might not. Like, is it gonna like pay your rent 5 years from now? It might pay your rent today, it might pay your rent tomorrow.
Yeah,
but and it's like I want to do something that is like can be sustained, and it's like I love throwing parties. I like, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna throw a party again, but it's like you gotta like think about where you're at, and then also have the foresight to be able to think about where things could be at, both like physically and metaphorically.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. Normally there would be a hand clap, but we lost power on the road, or the memory died.
We can still motherfucking hand clap up in this bitch. What you talking about?
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about?
Look at me capping.
What are you talking about? You feel me? That's what I'm talking about. Good hand clap.
I don't know why I just got pressed.
Brother, we got time for one more question. So do you want let one fly? Damn. And we can end off this beautiful interview.
I literally asked like 2 questions from my fucking list. Oh, this is actually something I was curious about. When you guys got signed, does it make anything easier for you, or does it complicate more?
It makes things way easier. I mean, being signed is tight because it's like at this point, for the most part, nothing is coming out of the band's pocket anymore. We have like budgets for shit. It's like fucking the like motorcycle park or Jimmy Neutron video was not cheap to make,
at all.
At all. Color, like the color grading alone, I was like, the colorist was in his fucking bag on this one.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like you just have like a team of more people who are invested and want to see you win, and are gonna do what it takes to, help everybody like get to the end goal.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah,
that was all I was curious about.
Oh my gosh, KWJT! I know you've been tuning in. You've been watching this episode. We've been going crazy, brazy, AZ, man. Let's hit a round of applause for our guest one more time. And you know how we usually do it, you guys. We would have had the whole band on. We will have them in the future. But we got Aramis today, and we're going to count our dubs with that. Please look out for Save the Baby coming out very soon. And
October 14th.
Watch our friends hit an awesome tour across North America, right?
Yeah, we go out on tour. The first show is October 14th, too, in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, you can catch the dates on our Instagram. We're going pretty much everywhere in America but the South. We'll be back to the South sometime next year. But,
okay.
But yeah, everywhere else, fucking Phoenix, Santa Fe, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, like Detroit, New York, the most random Boston, meals. Yeah. We're going to be everywhere.
Yeah, and I believe you can find tickets at Enumclaw online.
Yeah, enumclaw.online.
And you can go witness greatness.
Yeah, come see the show.
Do you have anything else you want to leave off with? Or
yeah, just like Save the Baby out October 14th on Luminell Records. Shout out to the guys over there. And yeah, we're going to be out on tour with Illuminati Hotties come October 14th as well. Come on. We'll probably be in your city, so come out.
All right, KWJT, you've been grooving with the South. We got Aramis, and we got Corey, and Tavares.